What you feel compelled to do is not always your intuition. What you feel compelled to do is not always your impulsivity. There are a number of things that's at play that can really compel us to make the decisions that we make, that can compel us to decide to do something, to not do something. Those things are really, really powerful, and it speaks to our patterns and programs, not just intuition. So, one of the things that I really, really like to support folks in developing is the difference between their gut and their intuition. There are some stories that I hear, there are often stories that I hear where people are like, my intuition was just telling me. And my response is, what you felt compelled to do was not your intuition, that was your gut. Some may not be able to feel into the difference when I first say it. And over time, we can all develop a relationship between our gut and our intuition so we can better differentiate and discern which is which. Why would we want to do that? One, our gut is comprised of all of our experiences, those that we remember and those that we don't. Our gut is made up of experiences that we've had across our lifetime, and it's a part of what contains so much of what can drive our patterns and programs. And these patterns and programs that we experience often run behind the scenes. They always run behind the scenes, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. So when I tell a person, what you felt compelled to do was not your intuition, it was your gut. What that means is what the person felt compelled to do was based on their experiences and based on the patterns and programs that runs behind the scenes for them. Our intuition is something different altogether. Our intuition is this deeper knowing, it's this deeper knowledge, it's this mind, body, soul connected information that goes beyond what we have experienced in this life. Goes beyond that. It goes beyond what we have seen people do. It goes beyond what we haven't seen people do. It goes beyond fear-based responses. It goes beyond even love-based responses. Our intuition is collective wisdom. Our intuition is incorporating of the individual, the ancestors, of earth, of a higher power. We do not know our intuition here. This is not where intuition comes from. And so when it comes to being able to feel the difference between the two, or even being able to understand why you would want to know the difference between the two, our gut, that thing that tells us what's right and what's wrong on a level based on our experiences and what we've seen around us, is limited to what we know or what we think we know. Our gut can really put us in a position of continuing certain patterns and programs, even when they no longer serve us. This is not to say that the gut is a bad thing, like the gut is just the thing. It's from our guts, actually, that we tend to be activated or triggered, as some people call it. It's from our gut, it's from our experiences that we've had that we tend to think this is a good person, this is a bad person. It's from our gut that we can choose to make decisions out of a place of fear and survival. Again, it's not that it's a good or a bad thing, it just is. And when we recognize what the gut is made up of, and we recognize how that can be influencing our decisions, not just in a pattern of survival, which I get it, we all need that skill, but also in a pattern of keeping up suffering. When we understand that, then we can really work to develop, to tap into our intuition, a knowing that goes beyond what we have experienced, a knowing, quite frankly, that goes beyond this idea of good and bad and having to cast judgment in order to make a decision. When we learn to tap into our intuition, when we learn to tap into our deeper knowing, I find that those decisions are based more on what it is that we desire in our heart of hearts and deep within the depth of our souls. My gut will tell me, be defensive. Don't let people get too close because they will hurt me. My intuition will tell me connection is really important. And to be able to hold myself to a place of which I can work up to being able to trust and connect to other people. My gut will tell me, stay in this relationship that's not working out because it's what I know. My intuition will tell me I am loved and reassured exactly where I am, and I have the capacity for more. This is not to glorify or condemn either of these things. It is to just bring into our awareness that some of the things that we attribute to intuition is our gut. When we attribute something to intuition, we can automatically assume it's a good thing or a helpful thing. And that's not always when we automatically attribute something to our intuition, we may not take another look because we just assume that we're right. Intuition isn't about being right, even though it is about a rightness and an alignment with yourself and your highest good. Tapping into intuition gives us an ability to tap into something that's beyond what we can see and comprehend. What I've given as an example, a personal example of before, is my ability to dream and to envision things is nowhere near what my intuition can pull up within me or support me within. I couldn't dream big enough from a place of my gut and my experiences, but my intuition knew differently. That inner wisdom knew differently. And so to be able to be in flow and be aligned with my intuition, being able to actually connect with where I feel intuition in my body so I can better discern, is this coming up as a reactionary gut experience, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, or is this coming up from a place of intuition? I could feel that in my body, and it helps me to better make decisions that are aligned with my highest good, that are aligned with the direction that I'm moving in. There's less mistakes that happens from a place of intuition. There's less regrets that happen from a place of intuition. There's less looking back, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I wish when it comes to a place of intuition because it's just so, it's just aligned. When folks are really trying to better understand their gut and their intuition, I really like to encourage them to have a reflective practice. So when you have something that just comes up for you, take some time, excuse me, to notice where you feel that in the body. Take some time to notice when you have this thought pop up or this decision that you're making pop up, what's surrounding it? When it popped up, were you replaying previous experiences you've had? When it popped up, were you thinking of what you didn't want to happen? Sometimes those things can indicate that that was a gut response. Yes, sometimes the gut is right, quote unquote. Sometimes the gut is spot on. And when we can really tap into our intuition, it's less surrounded by what we've experienced and what we are trying to avoid. And it's more surrounded by a feeling of ease and flow and alignment. What that does overall is help to reduce anxiety. It helps to reduce stress. It's not absent those things. and it does help to reduce it. It helps us to feel more confident in the decisions that we make and how we move through life. It helps us to open more toward connection than to shield more from a place of fear. Intuition helps us to connect not only to ourselves and to other people, but it helps us to connect with something that's greater. Intuition helps support wisdom. It helps to support growth. Intuition is something that really, really can help people understand their patterns and programs, not from a place of shame and judgment, but it can help folks to understand their patterns and programs from a place of understanding and compassion and accountability. It's the catalyst for most things that we desire out of our lives. When we can tap into and experience intuition, when we have a reflective practice where we understand this is not coming from a specific experience, but this is what I'm being led to do. Think about where you're feeling that in your body. Feel into where you're feeling that in your body. Is anything tingling? Is anything lighting up? Is anything becoming lubricated? Is anything loosening? Where do you feel your intuition in your body? Where is this higher knowing that seems to just come from someplace? When you connect that to what you're feeling in your body, that will be another indication of this is what my intuition feels like. That will be another place of which when something's happening in your life that you can slow down, that you can pause and tap into that feeling in your bones. Tap into that feeling in your yoni. Tap into that feeling in your gut, in your womb space. When we can connect it to our body and to that inner experience, then we can better discern where something is coming from. And that gives us a lot of power.